Hello everyone. Welcome to Widget Tricks. So in this video, we are going to talk about how we can deploy iOS app using Fastlane, and also using the same Fastlane tool, we are going to use GitHub Action to deploy the same app on App Store. And we are going to do this live coding right now, and we'll see how far we can get. I hope we will be able to just publish it by the end of this video. So let's see how it goes. So my name is Burhanuddin Rashid, and I start my career as an Android developer, and I am a Google developer expert in Flutter. And I've been like the GD for last 5 to 6 years, and I've been working on Flutter for last 4 years. So yeah, and today with me joining. So since it's I planned this as a pair programming kind of a session, so that I might need some help in between. So we have Sanni here. So Sanni.
So hi, I'm Sanni Prasad, and I have also done most of my career in Flutter. But before that, I also tried Xamarin and iOS and Android. So it's been a journey, and yeah, let's do it.
So basically, this is an open source app. What to do? I built this app around 2018 just to learn Flutter. And since then, I've been updating this with various things and all that stuff. So what we are trying to do today here is we are going to deploy this app on App Store. So it's not there on the App Store, but we'll try to deploy this during this whole session. So if you want to check that out, it's Burhan Rashid, what to do. So this is the app. It's open source. You can check it out. And basically, it's just a to-do app. And we are going to deploy this on App Store. And if you want to check it out, like I have already run this app in my iPhone. So as you can see, it's just a to-do app, projects, label. You can add projects. You can add labels, and then you can create tasks. For example, deploy iOS. And then if you create it, you get a task here. You can swipe it, and just normal to-do app. So we are going to deploy this on App Store. And for doing that, we are going to use Fastlane, because I have tried like doing this manually, but it takes a lot of time. Even though downloading certificate in iOS, it's very tricky. So if you try to do that manually, it takes a lot of time, but Fastlane basically take care of all that stuff. So we are going to use Fastlane here. So yeah, we are going to use this. So I'll just go to my command line here. And then I guess the first thing is like we need to make sure that our local setup is done properly. Because on if any CI/CD stuff you are trying to implement, first thing you need to make sure that your thing which you are trying to do on the CI should be able to done locally as well. So first you need to test it locally, that okay, what I'm trying to do, the setup is workingly fine in my local, and then try to mimic that on a CI. If you try to do everything on a CI, then it would be very hard to understand what's going on, because you don't have access to that computer to directly debug those things. So we are going to do that first locally, and then we'll do the GitHub action part. Okay. So yeah, before we start Fastlane, make sure that your local is set up properly, the Ruby version and all. So yeah, Sanni, like, would you explain like what should be doing it here?
Yes. So locally, first of all, the thing is, we need a few things. And as you talked about Fastlane, we need Fastlane. So we'll need to install it. And Fastlane comes as a Ruby gem. Gem is like it lets you install a tool globally, just like Pub Global Activate. So the thing is, with Xcode, the Ruby version which comes is 2 point something, and it is old, and the recent one is 3.3. So what we want is that we use the latest Ruby, which is more stable or more featureful. and Fastlane also recommends that. So let's talk about installation of tools locally. So first thing is, we do not want to use the pre-installed Ruby. We will install our own Ruby. To do that, we can use brew and the command.
Just want to make sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure that what Sunny meant by pre-built Ruby is that whenever you have a Mac, Macs come with a Linux-based system, and in that, since Xcode is directly installed, it comes with the Ruby of its own version. So we don't want to like use that. We want to independently use Ruby. So that's what like Sunny is trying to convey. So I guess using Brew, we are going to install a separate version of Ruby, and then we are going to use that throughout our system. So yeah, I guess the command is, I guess it's brew.
You install Ruby.
Install Ruby, I guess. Yeah. Brew install Ruby. And I guess it's direct. I think it's already being installed in my local. It will just update it, try to update the Ruby version. And once that is done, I guess you need to go into your ZRC, your bash file, and then you need to make sure that, which one was it? I don't know.
Should be the last one.
Should be the last one.
So here we are trying to set the path of Ruby. So whenever we call for the Ruby command, it will use this newer installation that we did just now. Is it there? Yes, this one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so basically when you
so Brew has installed Ruby in this path, and when you install using Brew, it will, at the end of the command, it will give you an instruction what exactly to put in your bash RC or zshrc. So this thing will work on Linux and macOS by default. On Windows, you should be able to find Ruby installation separately using Chocolatey or directly from Ruby.
I mean, since if they are trying to build local iOS app, they can't use Windows anyway. So they have to use they have to use Mac. So just make sure that once Ruby is installed, you export this path. And since we have already done it. Okay. How to exit Vim? Yeah. I just forgot. I'll just close this anyway. It's hard to exit the Vim. So yeah, so we have a Ruby 3.3.1 version, and then I'm going to install the Fastlane. So I guess here
using Brew. So same command, Brew install Fastlane.
I don't know what's happening. I'll just using the same command, brew install, and then you have to use Fastlane. Okay, so these are the two things you have to install. It's already there in my Mac, so I'll try to just reinstall it, or like it's already there. So it will take some times to download all those things and then do it anyway. So the first thing, I mean, in order to deploy the app on App Store, you need to have an Apple developer account. So it's basically, I think for currently it's $99 per year. So just to demonstrate that, I purchased that account a few days back. So I have my account here on developer. Once like basically normal procedure, you go to the Apple developer account, try to enroll it, pay the amount, and then you will get access in around, I think in 24 hours. And then you will have an account. So first thing is there are two ways to access this account, which is one is developerapple.com, which is your developer account. And one is App Store account, where all those apps and all those things are being managed. So here you can see that I have created that account. So you will see this option if you have purchased it and you already have that. And then in order to make this all thing work, you need to have at least one device registered on your account. So I've already have my phone registered here. So make sure that before like creating certificates and all that, you just register one device there. Otherwise, it won't work. So this is the setup. There are a lot of things to be done in order to create app. But Fastlane is not to be done all those things inbuilt. So we are trying to leverage the Fastlane command and try to do all that stuff from the Fastlane itself. So yeah, I guess that would be it. And I guess first we need to make sure that we are in the iOS directory. So we'll go into iOS directory, and then what's the command? Fastlane init.
Yeah.
Since we don't have anything set up, we are going to start with Fastlane init, and this will ask all those questions step by step. And then we'll go each step and then try to build all those things step by step. So we'll do Fastlane init, and it will do all its initialization. Now it's asking that you want to automate screen, automate beta distribution to TestFlight, automate apps to distribution, manual setup. So we don't want to have automated screenshot. We just want to automate the beta distribution to the TestFlight. Then all the other stuff comes later, where you add a screenshot and then you send for the review. We just wanted to make sure that we are just deploying to the TestFlight so that whoever is added as a tester can test it on their devices. So I'm going to select 2 here. And then it will go through all other stuff, and we'll see what it asks next. Now, next is asking, is Apple developer Apple ID? So what it's trying to do is it will get your Apple credentials, and then it will try to do all the other stuff. So once it has access to your Apple developer account, it will do most of those things. So what I'll do is I'll just add my email here, which is we are using. So it's brandashit5253@gmail.com. And since I have already have logged in session, it automatically logged in. And then I have, since multiple access to it, I want to create that app on my account, which is Burhanuddin Rashid, the first one. So I'll just go with the first one. And now I'll say you will have a multiple teams, but I want to go with my. So I'll select the first one. Now, the first thing it tried to do is it's tried to create the Apple ID, which is basically a package name in Android and bundle ID in iOS. So it says that it cannot find the bundle ID which we have in the app. So it's asking that should I create it, or it's already exists there. Since we are fresh installing it, we don't have one. So what I'll do is I'll just say yes, that I want to create that identifier. So I'll just say yes. And what is our app name? So basically our app name is called What to Do. So it will also create the app for us. So I'll do app name What to Do. Now it's saying that the identifier Burhan Rashid 52 Flutter app is not available. Please enter difference. So why it's saying is because someone has already registered that identifier. I don't know who. Maybe it was open source. Someone took it and they are using the same identifier. So we need to change that. So if someone has already registered with the same bundle ID, you can't use that. So yeah. If you know how to find an iOS app using bundle ID, let me know. I want to know who is that person who have used this ID. So yeah. So I'll just exit this, and then I'll just say no. I'll just close this one. I'll just terminate it because I want to change that. So what we need to do is we need to now change our bundle ID. So what I'm going to do is, I think we are going to Xcode, right? We are going to open Xcode. Oh, okay. I have to go to the iOS, open runner, X workspace. Then what was the thing we want to do? Oh, it's opening. Okay.
So, Burhan, what must have happened that somebody must have cloned the project and tried to run it on their iPhone using their own developer account. And that is how Apple must have automatically registered your app identifier onto the system, and then you are not able to do anything else. So they have not necessarily published the app, but they have just tried to run it on their iPhone or just signed using their own Apple ID.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Just giving the benefit of doubt that by mistake it might happen.
Okay.
So yeah. So what we need to do is now, since the bundle ID is already being used, I need to change that. So I don't know where's that option is.
The target, yes, on the left, target.
Yeah. Okay, target, and then it was in I guess general, where?
In the general bundle identifier. In general itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically a bundle identifier, and since I don't know, I can edit it or not.
Yeah. What is it? No, not
Delete. No, I don't want to delete it.
You can press the arrow key on the front, in the front of the box. Yes.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just rename it to what to do. Okay. And I'll just hit save. Okay. And let's go back to our terminal and try to run the same process again. So I'll just go Fastlane init again. I want to automate TestFlight. I'll give my this email is all, it's a login. If you don't have logged in from your command line, it will might send OTP to your number, and then once you verify it, you will able to log in directly. So number one, I guess, and then team one, and it's still taking the old one. I'm not sure why. Maybe I have saved it here, but okay. So I have to change it in all. I have just changed for the release. So I'll just go here, come to the release, then I'll just save it. Go back here. I'll just run it again. CD iOS Fastlane init. And
this is painful.
yeah,
Putting in
that's why I asked someone else to come with me, so I don't embarrass myself alone. I need someone else with me. So one, and then team, individual. It's still
I think you should have changed it in the all section. Please check.
it's there already in all.
Okay. Then can you check whether we already have a Fastlane file in iOS? Because
Maybe we need to.
yeah, if it has created a file from previous runs, probably.
No, it's just have a folder for now.
Okay, that is interesting.
I'll just search it if yeah, the identifier is
Can you
there.
search the older one?
Yeah, it's not there.
How do we clean the Fastlane context?
Okay. Should I restart the ID? I don't know.
Probably let's do everything.
I'll just check if it's updated. Bundle ID, what to do? Here is the bundle ID, what to do. If someone have not been used that ID, we would have been able to publish it by now. So I'll just
Yeah, and can you try to run this project? I mean, just build so that if it is not saved correctly, or if it
yeah, it might.
Yeah, if it catches the bundle ID somewhere while building, we can try to just trigger a build.
Yeah.
Let's delete the Fastlane directory that we had there.
Okay, the Fastlane.
In the iOS.
Yeah, just delete it.
And gemfile.lock also.
This might be also creating issue. I don't know. I'll just delete it.
Let's delete it because it is not really needed right now. Fastlane should create this.
Okay.
I think it's fine now. Let's see. Let's see how it goes.
Should I? Yeah, it's building, right? So might I'll just try to get in it.
And this time let's read the logs. If it shows our bundle ID somewhere, then we can be sure.
Yeah, it's now taking. It's look like branches what to do isn't available. So yeah, I guess that worked.
Let me give
so now it will try.
Burhan,
Sorry. Yeah.
Let's give the background about all this. So there are multiple steps to do when you want to publish an app on App Store or Play Store. So for App Store, you have to do two things. First, register this bundle ID in the Apple Developer Console, the one which we did we see it? And
this one.
The other one. Yes. So where you can manage certificates, profiles, and so many other things related to a custom configuration for Apple ID, for taking additional permission, creating provisional profile, a lot of things. And the other thing that we have to do is create an app on App Store Connect. And there you can manage the app itself, create new releases, fill up the whole all the information that will be visible to public, put screenshots, so all those things. So what Fastlane lets you do is it connects with your Apple ID and then it automatically creates both the entries for you, so that you do not have to go into browser and fiddle.
Yep. So now currently we don't see this app ID because currently it's asking for what to do. So I'll just add the name of what to do. Sorry, app name. And it will create this what to do app. And it also create the App Store connection, all those things, checking if exist on App Store Connect. Would you like Fastlane to create an app on App Store Connect for you? So yes, I want to create an app because it's not there. And I'll do what to do. Okay. Now it's asking, it's looked like something went wrong when try to create your app on App Store. Would you like to try again? Yes.
There was an error related to setting a language, English something.
Okay.
What is this? Sending a language has been deprecated. English has been mapped to, okay, it's automatic. It looks like something went wrong when we tried to create your app. What should we do?
I don't know, creating new app, what to do on App Store Connect, sending language deprecated. Maybe just
can we check the App Store Connect console if it has created or not?
Yeah, it's created what to do.
Identifier there, but App Store Connect.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, so the identifier with the what to do name, it's there. The app is not there. So would you like to try again? I'll say yes.
is not showing any errors. Can we check log if we have any? No.
Maybe just Google it. What does it say? Maybe I think since it's a new account, it might need to set a languages. I don't know. Oh, okay. I just pasted all those things. I'll just say Fastlane and see if we can find something here.
Okay, trying with a different app name. So I think I have faced this error in one of my apps. So what happens that if your app name is very similar to another app on the App Store, it will ask you to change. So
Okay, let's just add an app
so
prefix to the end.
instead of what to do only, we can put what to do CI/CD demo or
App.
app. Yeah. Okay, let's try something else again.
What to do? Test.
Let's see. Looks like it's working. Yep.
Okay.
So
So free meeting is about
one more hidden rule.
one error solved and one error came.
Okay, what is
So
it?
yeah, like no, I mean the Zoom time is going to expire in few minutes. So yeah, I mean the changing the name work generated Fastlane. It generated some file. Please check the newly generated and press enter. So yeah. So what it does is basically it's created all those app file in Fastlane. So for us, so we don't have to do anything. I'll just do continue enter, then automated different tasks like screenshot. Okay. Okay. How to customize your Fastlane. Okay. So basically, it worked. And if we come here and if I refresh,
Should have an app.
yeah, so I have this app here, what to do test. And with that, we have all the like bundle ID tied to it, and it's working now. So we don't have to do this manually. Everything was done from the Fastlane itself. And what Fastlane has created is now a lane called beta. And you see there are two app files. One app file basically register all those details called your identifier, my Apple ID, the team ID, ITC team ID, and this team ID. And then in the Fastlane, it's also created, since it's a written in a Ruby, it's created a function called beta, which basically build your app and upload to the TestFlight. Cool. So far so good.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah. So the first thing is I like to try the Fastlane beta command since already created one and see what happens. So what it'll try to do is try to build an app and then it'll try to upload on the TestFlight. So, and it also created this gem file. This gem file basically says what dependency it's need. So currently it's need Fastlane. But in future, let's say if you want to distribute to the Firebase app distribution, then you need to install that plugin. And if you really want to know how we can upload to the Firebase distribution channel, the iOS app, if you don't have an App Store account, even though I think for certificate, you might need App Store account, but you can also deploy on a Firebase test distribution. So if you are interested in that, let us know. We might try to create a different video where we upload it to the Firebase test lab. But for now, we are focusing on App Store. So yeah, it created Fastlane file. It created the README file that you need to run this command in order to make this work. Then there's a report and all that stuff. Currently, error building the application, see above. So looks like Fastlane ran cannot archive it. With the project, it's hard to tell what's causing the error. We wrote something. So basically what happening is it's trying to here, it's trying to build an app and upload to the test flight, but it doesn't, the app is not signed yet. And there are no certificates attached to that a file so that it can upload on the test flight. So I'll try to explain if how this whole thing work. Second. I'm not sure if you can see this here. Which one is it? I'll try to go back. Then I'll try to see if you can see the drawing here. Is it syncing or not? Okay, so basically it's working here. I'll try to get the black color here. Okay. I don't know if you are able to see this. I guess the internet is slow. So I guess there are two apps. We have an Android version here, and then it's way too slow. So we have an Android version here. And then in Android version, you need to have a file called .apk. And then you have a Play Store account here, which you want to upload it here. But in order to upload this APK onto the Play Store, you need to have some kind of a key here in between to sign it with it and then upload to the Play Store. And now this key, basically, in an Android, we called key store file. And this key store file also protected with the username and password. And this similar process also exists for, I guess, for Apple. It's kind of a different. In Apple, it's generate an IPA file. And in order to upload to the App Store, you need to sign it with certificate. And this certificate are basically, it's kind of a signing key for those IPA to upload on the App Store. And this certificate comes into 3 mode called dev, development, ad hoc, and App Store. Now the development mode is like a debug key store, which basically you can share across your team so that you have the same build type. Ad hoc is basically I have used for the Firebase distribution, where you can ad hocly upload it on any third-party platform. And App Store is where you upload to the App Store. Okay, so this is how basically a whole certification system work. I'm not a native iOS dev, so you might find a really great resources somewhere else to explain how all those things certificate works. But I tell you, it's very tricky to understand. That's why we are using this Fastlane tool to solve all that problem for us so that we don't have to go into it. So we are going to do that next. Okay, so far we talk about certificate, and now we are going to initialize those certificate using a command called Fastlane match. It's basically called match because it matches your certificate with your build and then try to mix it up and then upload to the Play Store. So what we are going to do is we are going to run Fastlane match init. Just because we are setting it up, I'm going to call it, we need to call it match init. Now it's going to use a Fastlane match init. It will say that where do you want to store your certificate? So what does it? It does it. Instead of having certificate in your local, it use GitHub or any version control as a storage mechanism where you store all those certificates, and then every time it's built, it use that certificate to build it. So you don't have to worry about storing and maintaining it. It's just that you give a path and you give a way where they can store it, and it will store it for you. So here we are going to use Git. So I'm going to use one here. And now it's asking for a URL of the Git repo. So what we need to do is we need to create a separate private repo. We don't want to make it public because then your certificate will be exposed to the public. So we are going to create a private Git repo where all or this certificate will store. In future, if you have more modules and more certificates, use the same repository to manage all those things. So you know where it is, and you can also get the older versions. It's going to use the Git. So I'm going to go to my GitHub account. Then I'll create a new repository because I want to create a new one, and I'll call what to do Fastlane keys. Okay. And I'll just make it private, and I don't want to initialize anything. Everything Fastlane will do it. So now I'll create that repository. And then I'll just copy this Git URL and I'll paste it here. Since I have access to my terminal, which is basically my account login to the terminal, it will basically do all the stuff for me. So I'll commit here, and what is saying? On first run of it will create a provisional profile and certificate for you. From then, it will be automatically import existing profile and information. So now we have done the init. I'm not sure if we have the file it here. Yeah. So if you see, we get a match file here, which takes our Git URL, mode, and type is development. But we don't want to do development. We want to do deploy to the App Store. So for that, it has a different command. So what we'll do is we'll use Fastlane match App Store. And one thing to note here is if we go here and see the certificates, currently we have only the development certificate, but since we are going to use the App Store one, it will automatically create those certificates for us. So we don't have to manually do anything. So I'll just go here and do Fastlane match App Store. And it will try to clone the repo. And here is the key thing is that since you have that on a private repo, it also required a mesh storage password. This password is just one more security layer added to it. So you have to make sure that you keep this password safe. I guess because I think we are going to use that when we are going to like deploy on GitHub Action, right? We are going to use this password, right? There. I cannot hear you, Sanni.
Yeah. So as you said, this password is to encrypt the certificates itself and then store it on the GitHub. So extra security measures. And this also enables other developers in your team to be able to build the app and build, for example, build an App Store build without needing access to your App Store account. Because all the certificates are put in this repository and later Fastlane will be able to fetch it. So that is the significance of putting a password here and having this kind of repo.
Okay, so I'll just create a password here and I'll save it in my local. So and again, I'll type it. Okay, so I'll just save it in my local somewhere. Okay, cool. Yeah. So now it's what it's trying to do is it's checking if I have already existing profile for it. If it's there, it's just download and use that. If not, it's basically create a new one. So it's basically all required key certificate provision are installed. So it give you the detail here that what kind of certificate it installed here and all those details. So it's basically saved in local, but also saved into your repository as well. This also do the keychain signing automatically. I guess it does, right? Keychain signing locally. I cannot hear you.
It stores all this information in your keychain securely. So whenever you run Fastlane, it will access keychain and get all these details for you and continue running without needing you to put everything in again.
Okay. Because if you move to the CI, it will also use the CI, I guess, keychain and then try to bind it and then deploy it. I'm not sure. That's how it works, right?
Yeah. So on CI, it will pull the Fastlane keys from the private repo, decrypt it, put it in the keychain, all the certificates, provisioning profiles, and then it will use that inside the Fastlane commands automatically.
Okay. So far, it created all the certificates. So if I just refresh this, I see now one more, which is distribution, which is going to use to deploy on App Store. And then there would be a profile, which is basically match App Store profile, which will be used to deploy on App Store. And if you come to the repo, which we have created here, and if I refresh this, you can see it automatically updates the certificate and provision folder. It's basically Fastlane does all those things for you. Is look like magic, but it's basically create all those commits, messages, and all this files. So if you go to the App Store, it creates the provision certificate, which has all the details. If you go to the distribution, it have this certificate as well. So it has contain all those detail for you, and you need to keep it private because it's a security thing. So just don't make it public. And we are going to use this this repo itself to deploy through the CI. So I guess, yeah, so far, so good. So if we come across this match, we have development, we have Fastlane. Now, I guess before we build an app, we want to make sure that we also match it. So the match command here basically match those certificate and add it to your app before building it. So we want to do that. So I'll just look into the Fastlane match command. I don't know, Fastlane match. Okay. Does all those things. We don't need this right now. I don't know, what was the match command? Just check. Do you remember what is the match command we have? Sunny, do you remember the match command or not?
I'm checking.
Okay.
So it is, I think, only match.
Only match.
Yeah. So there are other things, but starting with match, we have the development type stored in the match file. We can change it to App Store, and then we will need the API key. Yes, API key and
So
the type.
match app identifier App Store. Okay. So GitHub Copilot did the work for us. So
Okay,
so this is where our
Yeah.
I guess our identifier ID comes, which is 552 called what to do. And then we are defining the type App Store because it generates a certificate for different app like the profiles. It's for the App Store. Then there is a ad hoc, and then there is a development, which we talked about earlier. Now, after matching it, sorry. No, caps lock. So once match is done, it's going to build the app, and then we want to deploy as well. So for that, I guess, let's see first if we are able to build the app or not. So I'm going to come here and then run Fastlane beta.
There is one more thing that we're missing is
Yeah.
to select the profile that was created by the tool in the Xcode. So we have.
Let's see. Yeah. I guess it's going to fail, I guess. Yeah, so it's fail, building not. I guess you're right. We need to go to the Xcode, and in the release mode, we don't want to automatically sign in. We want to remove it, and then we want our own certificates which we have created to use that. So I have removed that in the release. For debug, you need your local one, but for release, you need to change that. And then you can see it's automatically get the match app store branch to do what to do, because Fastlane did all that stuff for you, downloaded all those things locally and set it up in your app. So once, if the certification command works fine, match init and app store, you will see this profile here, and then you just need to select that, and it will automatically manage all those things, I guess. Manage certificate. I guess, I don't know. Let's see. So I have selected this and see if it's able to build the app or not. Because our first concern is, before we deploy, we need to build the app. So currently our build app is not working. So I have run it again. It just clone the repo, match, and then decrypt the certificate and see. Yeah, I guess now it's building. So yeah, just have to wait until it's compiled, and then it's upload to the. I think the upload is still not there, but I guess it should build the app, and we should be able to see the IPA and some other files. So now I think the app build is done. It's trying to log in and upload to the test flight. So this is what it's trying to do. This might take few minutes. Please don't interrupt. Now the upload fails, obviously, because we haven't authorized it yet, but the build app is working fine. And if you can see, those files are here, IPA and that DSYM file, just to you can use that in a Firebase, but we don't need that around. The important thing is we are able to generate this IPA with those certificate. It's kind of a release APK. It's kind of a released IPA with the match certificate. So I think we are halfway done, that we're able to generate this APK. So what I'll do is I'll just commit whatever we have done so far. We don't need this. I'll just delete this. And I guess we'll need a gem lock file. So I think in git ignore, I need to remove that. Gem lock.
Let's keep the gem file.log, because it defines the environment, and whenever in CI it will be building, it will be taking the versions from gemfile.log. So if it works on our computer, it should work on CI if we have gem.file.log.
So should I keep it that log file in the version control or not?
Yes, please commit it.
Okay, so I'm just seeing if I can remove that from git ignore, which is that file. Or I'll just add it, force add it, git add. Okay. Now I'll just go here and then all the F file gem file report. Then build app using match. Okay, so I have committed it. Now the first part is done, that we are able to build the IPA locally using match and all. Now the second part is we want to deploy into the App Store. So to deploy that on an App Store, I need to go to the, I guess, Fastlane file. Yeah, here. We need to use this upload to TestFlight. And that might be a older version of it, but I think we can use pilot here. So in the Fastlane, there is a pilot command as well. I don't know, I'll just search here. Pilot, yeah. So this does the same thing, is just another name of upload to the test flight, but it takes the API key, a JSON file, which has all the credential and authorization required to deploy on App Store. So we need to create this file and then use that file into the pilot. So what I mean by that is, I'll create a pilot command here. Then I need to have, I don't know if the copilot work key path. It's my path. And then here, skip waiting for build. I'll just set it to true. So we don't want to wait until it's done. Now, what I'll do is I'll create a JSON file inside our Fastlane folder, and I'll call it store.json. Okay. So this store.json will contain all the details for the App Store Connect, which is basically a service which allows us to upload on the App Store. So I'm going to add this file inside our Fastlane, but we are not going to commit it since it's a kind of a secret. We are going to use that like as a file here only, just since we want to test it out locally. Then after once it's verified, we can replace that in a CI. So for that, we need to create a JSON file, and those JSON file would require some details. So I'll just first go here. I'll call store.json. I don't want to add it. I'll just add this into git ignore so I don't mistakenly add to it. So I just do store.json, so it's get ignored. And in this JSON, what are the things it required? Okay. So first it required a key ID. So we need to find that key ID into our App Store account. So I don't know where is that? Where we need to go?
In the users.
Okay, so inside developer account com, and then here in the keys, I guess.
No, in the App Store Connect.
Okay, in the App Store Connect, we need to go to the
users and access.
Okay, user and access.
Integration.
Okay, integration. Okay.
Yeah, App Store Connect. This.
So individual or team?
Team.
I guess team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to explain on what this App Store Connect API is?
Yes. So this App Store Connect API lets Fastlane connect to App Store Connect. So earlier what we did was login to Apple ID, and that was used to create certificates on my behalf and create the app entries wherever it is needed. But this one, it will help Fastlane take the built IPA file and send it to TestFlight. So only that much needs to be done, and for that it needs this API key.
Request access, right? Request access by checking this box, submit, and then generate API key. So here, what to do? API, and then admin, right?
Yes. For
And
now,
then
we
I'll
can put
create a
admin,
generate.
but when in the team setting, when you have larger team, you want to have this as app manager only, because with
Okay.
admin comes a lot of permissions. For example,
Mhm.
uh, changing critical things which would disrupt your app. So choose that accordingly later after you have
Yeah,
set.
because in the large organization, you might have a lot of apps under your same account. So you might don't want to give access to some other app. So you need to use that permission. Yeah. So I'll just download this, and it will download a P8 file, which is basically the access key here. So the first thing we see that we need a key ID. So I'll just copy this key ID and then try to paste it here. Okay. And then I'll just go to this pilot. The key ID is done. Then we need an issuer ID. So I'll commit here. Issuer ID. And then if we go to here, so this is our issuer ID. So I'll just copy that. And then we have, what is the key file path? Or you can directly, I guess, put the key,
Right.
the whole contain. So is it a key or what is the name?
Only key in small case.
Okay, only key in small case. So you can do two options, either keep the file there and then do that, or you just pose the whole content of it. So I'm going to rather get the whole content out of it. So I'll just go here. I'll just go and open my I'll just open it here. I'll just copy that. Then I'll just paste it here. The whole key is being pasted here. And now I guess I'll try to run the thing. We come to Fastlane here. Now just to get a little bit of revision, this basically downloads or download your certificate if it's there. If not, it creates the one. Then it's build the app, which basically the IPA file, and then it uploads this IPA to the Play Store using this store.json. So we have added this store.json inside the Fastlane here. So now I'll just run Fastlane beta and just see hope it works. Finger cross. Because usually first time it doesn't work. So let's see. Let's have downloaded the certificate. Now it's trying to build the app. Mhm. So I guess now it's building the app. And yeah, so the file is being created. Now it's trying to upload it. Let's see, token EPS token code ready to upload to build the test flight. So that means the key which we have uploaded is working. And now it's going to upload the app to the App Store Connect. This might take few minutes. Please don't interrupt the script. So the authentication works. And I hope the building of that also works. I think this is one of the most, I think, leverage activity in I think, especially in the mobile development part, because it's not that easy to like in the web you do the deployment, right? It's just that it takes few seconds or few minutes to upload a web application on the web app, but the mobile just work differently. You have to build that APK first with the certificates, and then you have to upload it the Play Store. So there are a lot of steps involved. And I guess setting up CI/CD from the day one of whatever app you are building, if you are working for a company and if you have a budget, then uh, you should do it on the first day itself. Because once this is done, it will just take, I guess, 10-15 minutes to deploy on App Store. But as you see that if we are trying to do this locally, it takes a lot of time. So I think it's worth spending a time into building up CI/CD for your app from the day one. And this is my experience coming on deploying an application for both Android and iOS. And I think the reason why I think most I think Flutter dev usually are not aware the iOS part of it, because first they don't have an App Store account because it's expensive and it's yearly basis. Most of them have the Play Store account. Uh, from the people I have teaching in my classes, most of them have the App Store account, Apple app, Google Play account. So they can test it out, upload it to the APK on the Play Store and make it out work. But for the iOS app, it's quite expensive because first you need to have a Mac OS, then you need to have an iPhone, and then you need to have an App Store account. So it's way too expensive to test that out until unless you are in a company, and then you get a chance to do it. So yeah, that's why most of the Flutter dev who have started out are mostly not aware about this process. I'm not sure how much time it's going to take. Should we check there if it's uploaded or not? So this is our app here. And in the test flight, we don't see it here, so it's not done yet. It might take few minutes. So yeah, it's done. So Fastlane just save you 6 minutes. So I guess it worked and it deployed. So let's see if we just refresh it. And Yeah, the first build on the test flight, you can see it here. So it's just processing, but it's just that we are able to upload the Fastlane setup very easily, to be honest. It looked easy, but I think the key thing we miss here is that we have tried this on multiple projects before we record this video. So Sunny have done it in his own project and in some companies and some other project as well, and I have done also this multiple times. So we have went through all the pain points and the hurdles which come across. So mostly we know what it's going to be or what error it's going to throw. So it's just that we have spent a lot of time before it. Hence, it took around I don't know, an hour or two to make this work. But when you try it out, you will have a lot of hurdles coming in between. Something won't work. Your local environment might get messed up. The versions are not working. The command you are trying to do, like I have spent like an hour because I just misspelled the command. And I didn't know that, oh, the command itself was wrong. So there will be a lot of things before you get to this point. So just don't give up. Whenever you are stuck, just try to rewatch this video, and then you might find some answer here and there. Okay, so the pilot is working now, and so we don't want to commit this. We want to commit only this. So I'll just say deploy to test flight using Fastlane. Okay, so I'll just commit this. Okay. Okay, cool. So far we are able to deploy this iOS app using Fastlane locally. And now we want to use this exact same setup, but on the CI. So the first thing I think for the in order to set up that, we are going to use GitHub Action, which is basically what it gives in inbuilt. So currently I have main YAML already here. I'm going to create a new file called deploy. You have to just go through the .github .workflows, and then you create different workflows. And then I'm going to create deploy.yaml. And we want this to be done manually right now. So I'm going to use, I think, the workspace dispatcher thing. I don't know. What do we have that for? The dispatcher, so that we can trigger it manually. So I'm going to use, I'll just copy this and then have it here. Okay. Deploy how to do app to app store. Okay. So it requires job. So I guess jobs come here. And then I guess it first need to be running on a Mac OS. So I'll just use this here. Deploy. So you can give any name, but make sure like you run on the Mac OS, or you can use, I guess, Mac latest for that. And then I guess we need to do checkout repository and that stuff. So what is the go? Oh, it's suggesting a lot of things. We don't want to do that. So what we want to do is we want to check out our repository and use the stable Flutter version. So here we are going to check out the repository, and we are going to use Flutter action, which basically fetches 3.22, which is the latest version. So this is our step number 1, where we check out our repository, and then we basically set up the GitHub action here. And then I guess what we need to do here is, I guess, run Fastlane beta from the directory itself. That's what we want to do. Or we want to set up the Fastlane version of it. So we'll come.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
I was saying we should be cloning as the first step. But anyways, it can be done later also. There is no side effect for it.
Sorry, I didn't get you. What do you mean by cloning?
The checkout step.
Oh, okay. So is this correct, right? We are checkouting, then we are getting the Flutter version, and then we are setting up the Ruby version.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So we are just setting up the Fastlane. So it has the Ruby version and the Fastlane. And then I think we need to deploy it on wait a second. So we need to deploy it. I'm just going to copy the script anyway, because I don't want to spend time much here. So I'll just use the, sorry, the name here. And then I need to use run with that. And in run, we want to do first go into the iOS directory, whatever we are doing it here. And then I guess in the next line, I'll use the pipe here so we can use multiple command here, cd iOS. And then we need to use bundler this dot fastlane iOS beta, right? So this basically goes into the directory, the iOS directory on the CI. And then it's basically we're using bundler because this is what we are getting from the Ruby. And then we are using the same Fastlane iOS beta command, which will run our beta function here, which we have created. Where is that is? In the Fastlane and in the Fastfile. So this is the beta function which we have called. You can add multiple function and multiple ways you can deploy it, and you can just rename this. So it's going to the iOS and then using the beta. So far, so good. I don't know what error this is giving me.
There is an issue. The bundler command should be bundle, not bundler. Bundle.
Okay, bundle, right?
Yes.
Cool. Now, this works fine, but what we have is that we need to set up like some variables in order to make this work. So there are, I think, 3 to 4 variables which we are going to set up from here, and we'll get that from Fastlane secret. So I'll just remove this here. So the first thing I'll just keep copying is the match password. I guess the name for that is match itself. So it's a match password, which we use to create our certificates. If you remember, previously we use to create this certificate, we created a password in the command line. So we are going to use that same here, and we'll get that from our match password secret. Similarly, we need our App Store Connect JSON key. And this is nothing but what we have created here, this store.json. Since we have git ignore it won't be part of the repo. It will fetch from the secret and then we'll use that here. So I'll just create this as a JSON key. And what is the next thing we need?
I think that's it. Authorization, yes. So to access private repository, we need to give it our personal access token for the GitHub.
Yeah. So what happens that we are using this GitHub URL, right? So when we use that inside our terminal, I have access to this repo in my local Git. So it's basically works through here. But when we go to the CI doesn't have access to this GitHub repo. So basically it will fail because it cannot access the private repo. If this would have been public repo, it would directly have fetched it, but most of the time this would be a private repo, so you can't fetch it. So we need to provide an access to this repo to use that. And if we look into our match command, what was Fastlane match. So if we go to our Fastlane match command, it has various ways to handle this. One is that you provide the basic authorization parameter here, or you can create an environment variable called match get basic authorization, and then give your token, get token here, so that it can access that. And then just run the match command. So we are going to use this so that it will be available in their environment and use that directly. So I'm going to use this. And then, sorry, I'm going to use this here. I'll go to the deploy. I'll use that here. And then I'll use the same secret key as well. So these are environmental variable and these are the secret keys. So it might be different, but you need to make sure this matches based on whatever it required on the tool which you are using. For example, for match, it required exactly match password environment variable, and for match is required for matching the Git repository. To fetch the Git repository, it required match get basic authorization. So make sure these names are correct, this and this. This fine because we are going to do it manually anyway. And then your secret could be anything, any name. It's just that it has to map it correctly here. Okay. So these three things, and yeah, that's basically it, I guess. Is anything else we need here?
We have to set these secrets. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'll just add deploy workflow. Okay. So I'll just commit it and then I'll push it to the main repo. So it will now push to the main repo. So if we come to our this, and I'll just refresh this. Now we have a workflow here, and then we have a deploy here. So that's how it's going to work. And if we go to the GitHub action here, I guess, yeah, we have this now that deploy what to do app to App Store, and I can run this manually here to deploy it. But since we have not set up the secret, we need to, it won't work. So I'll just go to the settings, deploy, and then actions. And then I need to add here, I guess.
No, secrets.
Right?
Not variables.
Secrets, okay.
Manage.
So it's a repository, new repository secret, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll just, what I say, I'll just copy this match password here, keep it here, and then I'll just paste the password which I had, and I'll just add a secret. So this is secret number 1. Then we need to have another secret called API.json key. So I'll just the name which we use here, and then since I already have this store here, I'll just copy this and then paste it here. Now, 2 secrets are already being added. I'll just go here. And we need the match get basic authorization. So I'll just keep here. Come in here. And then I need to, I guess, create the authentication here. So
Yes.
I'll just go to the settings and then developer settings. And then personal access token. So I guess this would be the fine grained token, which is the new one. So I'll generate a new one. I need to use password. So I'll just create this token. I'll say what to do Fastlane. Okay. I'll just say, I don't know. I'll keep it as a 90 days, but I think that token should never expire. I guess I don't know if we have that option, but I guess the token should never expire because I think, I don't know. So is it possible? to not expire?
It's good to have it expire every, periodically, so that even if something happens, the key will get expired. I mean, we want the key to stay safe, and if it get leaked, then it will be trouble. Right? So it's fine to keep
Okay.
it expiring every some days.
Okay, so I'll just search it here. So we have a Fastlane keys here. So I'll select that. And then I don't know, it required action permission, read and write. What are the permission it reads? Action, administration. So this is code space, deployment, issue, merge data, pull request, pages, secrets. I don't think workflow. Yeah, read and write. Those are the, I think, permission read, right? Or anything else?
I think this much should work.
Okay.
We need, let's take read and write for the repository if we've not already done. For the
Read and write for repo. Where is that?
uh,
Administration,
go on top.
code space, environment, issues, repository, adversaries, code space, email address, follower, such key plan, private repository information.
Can you go on top in near the repository selection?
Yeah.
Yes. Does it show anything? Options administration. Is there any permission related to commits? Contents, yeah, there is contents.
Yeah.
Yes, so repository contents, that is the files. So we need access to that, read and write both. Normally, the team member
Okay.
will only be reading, but because we are setting it up, we may need write access.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I'll just generate a token here. And then I'll just copy this. I'll paste it somewhere safe. And then do we need to convert into base 64 or like it would just work?
Yes, as per the documentation, you have to do something. You have to convert it to base 64 in a specific format. Can you go to the doc,
Yeah.
the match,
Okay, base.
and just below it, it is giving you this
This
command
is the command.
to create a format and then convert it to base 64.
Okay, so I need to do echo minus n and then minus n, then GitHub username. So my username is this, and then my pat space base 64, right?
Yeah,
Cool. So it creates this one,
yeah.
and then action, and then I'll just paste and add a secret here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's try.
Yeah, I think one more thing we forgot to do is like, since this is going to deploy it, we need to also increment the version number every time we deploy it. So like incrementing number each time. So it can't allow, like the currently we have uploaded here is 1. So if you try to upload the same build name again, it will fail. So we need to increment that each time. It's a build number, not a version name. So here we need to update that. So I'll just do none of them, save. So I need to update that. So I guess there is already function here. It's in there, I guess.
There is a function to find out the latest version that is there on the App Store. It uses API keys, and then you can in your code, in the Ruby code Fastlane, you can increment it manually and then use that number there.
Okay, let me just see if I can find that one. Flutter.
There are other plugins, say actions. So there are other actions which X is the Xcode's files to find out the version number and then increment it in the file itself. But because we are using Flutter, by default, Flutter will not set the version. It will always use a variable picking up from I think Flutter.properties.
Locally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are two variables, which is basically Flutter build name and Flutter build version. And that's basically what it does. So here we are going to use latest build number, latest test flight build number. So this is an inbuilt function coming from the Fastlane itself, which will go through the API store connect, get the build number, and we'll here from our logic, we'll just add it by one. So latest build number plus one. So that is all we need to do here. So I guess, yeah, that's the only thing I need to do, right? And then we need to call this function here. So I don't know if we are going to.
So in the lane itself, you can create a new variable and assign the value of this function to it, just like Python.
Okay. So I'll just, but then I need to save it to this updated version number. I need to save into an environmental variable, right?
No, because we do not have to pass that from outside, but we do have to put this inside this build app. So whenever Xcode builds, it should know which version number we want to keep.
So does the build app have that function name?
Let's check.
So the build app. Okay. Build schema, export, provision, right? I'll just search number in a sense if I can find. No, so there is no number as such. Let's say if in Flutter it does have something here, Flutter. Oh, so it's going to a different document.
I think we should use a different action which will manually change this version number inside Xcode. And that is going to happen only at runtime. So our code does not need to be changed. So the source code will not need to be changed, only faster.
No, so I'm thinking, so there are two, I think this, does it require Fastlane password or match password? I don't know.
Which one?
Let's see. For the match. So we have two global variable already there. I guess, I don't know if I can search it here. Flutter, where I'm searching, sorry, I'm searching here. Flutter build name. I'll just search Flutter build name. So this is the command you can basically run, but so the version. Yeah, this is the Flutter build number and Flutter build name. So these are two global variable. So if we can set up the, I'm just thinking if this updated version name, it's a name or number. Sorry, it's a number. If we can somehow set that here in the here itself, in the CI itself. So I just need to check how we can do that. Environment variable. So maybe, I don't know, run. No. Yeah, so we can, I think, don't use in Ruby, use this and val. Okay, where does we use this? Set and get environment for fastlane.swift. Don't use. Okay. Hmm. What do we do now?
Let's try to use this different action. If this does not
Which
work,
action?
skip it.
Which action can you send me?
I'm sending here.
Okay.
Increment build number, it increments the build number inside Xcode.
But how does it know the old version of it?
It also supports setting the build number manually. So we can mix and match what we already have. We can
Oh,
the build number from TestFlight and then assign that build number using this.
okay. So I'll just use this increment build number, and then we use this number, right? Is that what you meant?
Correct. Let's try this. Can we try this in local first?
Okay. Let's just try in local. Fastlane beta. So if it fetches, it will show the number. If it fetches it, then we'll just stop the build. So we know that it's just incrementing the number.
Right. And we should be able to see the change in Xcode XE workspace also. Updated this build version to 2. See, could you see this log on top? Yeah,
Okay. So that means it's working, right?
yeah.
So I'll just stop this here, and then I'll just add a increment build number on publish. So commit, and I'll just git push. Cool. So now I think pretty much setup is done. I'll just go. Where was my workflow?
We have one more
Okay.
thing. We have to
Yeah.
put a JSON file which we put in the environment variable. We have to convert it to file and place it. Do we need, will it work?
Yeah. So I think what we need to do is we just use that JSON. Here I have that one. So I'll just go to the deploy YAML. And then before we deploy this, we need to echo into file store.json. So I think, I don't know, should we put this here? Would it make sense more so that it would have throughout this?
No, let's
And
put
then,
it. No. I think this step, the Fastlane wala step will need all the environments variable on its own because it will and it is not necessary to have all the variables for the whole run,
so
right?
I'll just move this here
Mhm.
and use this as to output into .fastlane.store.json. So the way we did it here in the in our local, which is basically fastlane.store.json here. And in the Fastlane, it's getting the JSON from here. So what we are doing is we are using this as App Store Connect JSON key, and then just exporting it out and creating a file. So it's echoing, and that should be, I think it should be enough.
You can put the environment on that step itself, just like the Fastlane step. So the whole environment tag can be put inside the setup App Store Connect wala
like this?
Yeah, that's not a problem, right?
Or yeah, like, let's just keep it as a variable, so at least we know that we are doing this.
Yes.
Let's see if that works. This is more of a small optimization, but I'll just remove it from here. And then create store.json on CI. Okay, cool. Now I'll just push this again. Git dot push. Now it's there. I think it will do another build here. What I'll do is I'll go here and then I'll just manually trigger the run workflow. So now it's just going to run the workflow which we have created there. Now you can basically replace this with anything. You can add a Git tag to it. You can have maybe manually a separate branch for it where it's get pushed, you just automatically deploy it. So it's just about defining your workflow based on your company or based on your project needs. We are just trying to demonstrate that you can do usually basically a manual dispatch, manual clicking on a button and do that like that. It's just that the matter of setting it up only on part of this GitHub action. Do we want to run on specific branch? Do you want to have dispatcher there? You can also take a lot of parameter from workpath dispatcher here. For example, if you want to have a different endpoint, you want to target it, you can get that from here, and then you can build your app using that environment variable. So you can test like different environment staging, production, and different dev environment kind of a thing. So you can like configure it any way you want on the GitHub action. So yeah, the below workflow remains the same. Just make sure that it runs on a Mac OS. So yeah. Okay, so everything worked fine. It cannot JSON key here. No such file or directory. Okay, so I guess I need to go to this needs to be run on iOS, I guess. And then it's go to the Fastlane and then go to the directory, right?
Right. Will it create the directories automatically? Do you think so?
No, so it says there is no such file or directory. It should be creating, right?
Let's try
It's just
it.
getting the output.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't find the folder, the Fastlane, maybe. So
Folder is there, so okay.
yeah.
Then it will only create a file and that should work. Yes.
Yeah. I think most of the CI issue comes down to the path itself. Somewhere, down the line, you are just messing up the path somewhere. That's why your CI is not working, because the way your path are configured locally and the way the path is there on the CI, it's very different. So I think the first thing what I have learned on implementing CI part is first make sure that your whatever setup you have done runs locally. And once that is done, make sure the path you have set up, it's like a flexible enough that it should also work on a GitHub action as well. So I'll just come here on the action. And then I have to run again on the main master because I have pushed the new changes there. So let's just wait. See what's going on. At least the checkout part is working. And the Fastlane setup should be also done. Then set up App Store Connect file. Mm. Okay. It didn't take, what happened? It didn't take the one. Did I push it? Oh, I didn't push it. Sorry. See, we wasted up our precious 5 minutes. Then set up, and then it worked, and now it's fading. Missing password and running in non-interactive shell. What this could be issue? Does it require a Fastlane password? I cannot hear you.
I think I have not put this in the GitHub action. Let me check. Does it require that thing? No, I have not put this thing at all. Should not ask me to put my. Okay, you can also pass the password using Fastlane password. Apple developer program account credentials. Why does it need it? Can you scroll up or to understand what triggered a request for this thing?
Yeah, I think so. There is also a app specific password, I guess, which allows you to, you don't need to this. Please provide Apple level program account credential. The login info you will store in your Mac OS keychain. You can also pass the password using Fastlane password environmental variable. See more information.
Buran, I
So
see one more issue. Can you scroll up?
yeah,
Even more. थोड़ा और. You see detected values from Fastlane match file. It is detecting type is equal to development. Okay, that's one thing. Second is we want to know whether it was able to decrypt our.
yeah, it's successfully decrypted.
Okay.
Match is read only, not required access to. It's just that I think this access control is missing.
What we can do, I think I have a solution without putting this password, because as soon
Yeah.
as we put the password, it will also ask for OTP next. So
Okay.
I don't think that is possible right now. Better we run the pipeline in read-only mode and change the account, what I say, the certificate type to App Store. So can we go in the match file and change the type to App Store? I think we have it set as development.
Okay. So you mean this
It,
is
it should be App Store,
App Store?
because it was able to decrypt it as we saw on the logs. So if
Hmm.
we have it, then we do not need to verify it again from the App Store. So this is one.
Hmm.
Now we can run the pipeline without verifying. That means we can run it in read-only mode. So can we check match documentation to find out the argument for read-only?
Okay, I'll just close this thing. Just get a confusion here. Fastlane match, right? Fastlane match.
We have time out coming very soon.
Yeah.
Let's quickly search.
नहीं होगा भाई.
Only.
बंद हो जाए.
Okay, let's join again if it allows.
क्या?
फिर से join कर लीजिए.
It will wait.
एक
Need
काम
to
कर
wait.
लीजिए
I
आप.
can't.
हमने इसको चेक कर.
आपके पास Zoom है?
हाँ है
आपके
ना.
पास Zoom हो तो आप लिंक भेज दीजिए.
हाँ अभी एक काम कीजिए, आप नीचे जाके रीड ओनली वाला निकाल के उसको मैच वाला जो कमांड हमने लिखा है ना फंक्शन, उसके अंदर एज ए आर्ग्यूमेंट पास कर दीजिए कि.
Okay, cool. Now what we have to do?
So we were at finding the read only mode in the match. So let's go to the list of elements that it has. Try searching read only.
Search?
Search read only.
Read only. Okay. Read only.
Or अच्छा नहीं, go to bottom. They have the list of all the commands. Yes, here. R for read only. Do they have it? Here.
ये वाला?
Yes. Let's take this and put it as true. So read the
Okay.
description. It only fetches the
Existing certificate and don't
Yeah.
generate new ones.
So that means it will not
Cool.
need to access this App Store. So it will not ask you for your password and all.
Okay, cool.
Because
So
we
let's just do
because we have
match.
all this in our local computer, it won't need to it should not need to do all this again.
Okay, cool. Because of 47-degree temperature, I'm not able to write it properly. So that's why I'm having a lot of typing issues. Cool. So I have pushed it. See some match read only. Then go to our workflow here and action. This one and run. So basically when it's fall, it's trying to regenerate. But then my question becomes why it's trying to regenerate if it already have the existing profile.
I think the thing was that the type was set as development in our match file, and it was taking that into account. And after fetching and decrypting the profiles and certificates, it did not find the matching profile, and it wanted to ask you to ask you for your password to go and fetch it and then push it, the usual behavior. So if we
Okay.
set it as App Store, then it should not ask ideally, because we already have that in our private repository.
I don't know. Let's see.
Let's go
I
in.
think, yeah, it's still failing.
Can you go in and check?
Yep. Missing password for my email.
Does it ask for OTP? If not, then we can put it as this environment variable.
But this password, I guess, is different. Please provide your Apple Developer Program account credential login.
Yeah, so
Can
Apple
also pass. So there is a thing called, I don't know, what it called, specific password. I don't know.
specific
Is
password.
it? Yeah. So it generated a one-time password only, but it just bypassed this whole thing. So I'm just trying to figure out where was it. It called Fastlane app Apple application specific password. Without 2FA. You need to provide an application specific password if you have a two-factor enabled and use pilot or deliver to upload binary to App Store Connect.
Okay, that's true.
So yeah. Application specific. I think it's come here in the developers dot what you say account. I don't know where does it get it. Keys. Apple specific password.
Did you find it?
Specific password. Yeah, I think there's a blog. Maybe they might tell us where to find it. User, then yeah, but where do I find it? Okay, so there's an official instruction. Do I have to do this App Store? I think. I don't know. App specific passwords. So go to the
Apple
sign
ID,
in secure select.
appleid.apple.com.
Sign in. Okay. Okay, so I'll just get an OTP. I'm just waiting. So it's 240 years. Whole app specific password. It's already there. Just create a new one. Create one. Okay. I'll just copy it. Done. I guess we need to blur out all those password after the editing. Okay. So I'll just do 2-3 changes here. One, I'll define a what is called the this here. Then just keep this.
This has to given in the Fastlane step also. No, I think yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So I'll just go here in the deployment settings. Sorry. Secrets. Actions. New. Full password. Okay. And cool. And then I need to push this. Apple specific password. Commit. And then get push. Cool. And hope it works this time. How many? I think we are already 2 hours in. I don't know. It's more than 1.5 hours already. Let's see. I don't know if people will watch this 2 hour long video.
Okay, moment of truth.
Nope, still not working. So it didn't get latest TestFlight build number.
It is asking for Fastlane password variable. See on top. Let's put that too. The same, it should be
So
same as application specific password.
no, I don't think so. Is it?
I think so, because normally whenever you are accessing services, you can use application specific password in place of your regular password.
But this is different, I guess.
Let's check. Username is this and password. It does not mention about application's password here, but we should be able to.
But I think what we have done earlier, like deployment, we haven't used this. So I don't know if we are missing something here.
Can we avoid incrementing build number? I think that is the only problem we are facing. Let's remove
Let's
that.
just hard code it. Let's just hard
Okay.
code it and see if let's say I have 2 and I'll just comment this out. Okay.
Yes.
Code version. Commit. Get push. But I think that is the first step where it requires an authentication. I think it will still fail on pilot this time. It is what I feel.
Let's see. Please cancel the other pipelines.
So they are independent. So I don't think it will block it.
Okay.
Yeah, this is also running. I hope I don't run out of free build.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. There are only 2000 minutes, right?
I guess we need Fastlane password as well. I don't know. So this Fastlane password is what?
It is used to connect with your
By default, your Apple credentials are stored in macOS keychain. Your password is only stored locally on your computer. You can easily delete the stored password using ejection and switching all that.
this is about something else, I think. It is talking about
Oh.
local, I think.
If this doesn't work, then we'll use the Fastlane password then. But I guess the Fastlane password is the Apple developer account password, is what I'm thinking.
Correct.
Yep, it failed.
I hope the error is different. Can I check the error? So,
So
no
it,
error on this place. Error is
Mhm.
in build, I think. Let's quickly go down.
Yeah.
Okay. Xcode build output above. potential hints. So run script will be generated is could not find included file generated.exe config in search paths. But that is a note, that is not an error. Looks like Fastlane ran into this error
That's a generic one.
based on dependency analysis unchecked. Here, error on the 5120 line, the 866 line. Could not find included file pod runner release config in search paths. Can it be because we have to do pod install or something?
I'll just search this.
It should be because of pod, I think. Yeah, it is about pod install.
Hmm. So when do we run pod install?
Yeah, I think we have to go. Did we do Flutter pubget?
No, we don't.
On CI, we have to do that, right?
Yeah, I guess pubget. Yeah, we are not doing it.
So let's add pubget, and pubget should create pod file, and then we have to manually do pod install. All of that.
Okay. Somehow it's listening. I don't know. So then here before deploy, right?
In the Fastlane itself, probably we
But
can run pod install. But
I don't think we need to install pod if we do Flutter pubget. I don't know.
Flutter
Let's do install.
Flutter pubget only downloads the Dart dependencies, and then the
Okay.
pod is installed when you try to build the app. And the second thing is, do we have pod in the path? Do we have to
What do you
install?
mean by pod in the? No, I don't think so because it's a Mac OS. So it might have already there.
Xcode is there. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
If CocoaPod is
That's
not,
why it's like,
yeah, then we'll do
that's
a
why it's building.
reinstall pod if it fails.
If it's failed, what we'll do?
If the pod fails, then we'll have to install CocoaPods using root, just like we did for uh, this gem Ruby.
Okay, everything is up to date. Let's see. What does it do this time?
Okay, it did work.
No, it would fail on build app, no? Still.
I hope
Oh, you mean the pod install? The pod install worked.
there was a red colored log. Can we check on top?
I think now it's building.
Yeah, this looks like a progress, but there was a red colored log. Is it?
Yeah, there is no local code signing identifier. This I think is always there.
Okay.
So I guess this is some progress. Uh, So I just remember when I was setting up the iOS deployment for the first time, I didn't know how to make it work. So it took me around a full week. I think 5 days, 8 hours, and 5 days. It took me 40 hours to set up the whole pipeline correctly. So I'm not sure if it's moving or not.
If nothing
Please move.
in red color, then it's fine. Can wait.
No, it's still not moving. Still stuck here. That's what worrying me.
Please expand it. Should be showing something.
But it's just stuck here.
Oh,
It's not.
this must be the Flutter build command, because in Xcode there is this run phase. It simply runs a Flutter script. It must be bundling the Dart code and then putting it as module.
Might be. The thing which I was afraid about, which might take more time, was Git pad, but it didn't take much time. The thing which I was not worried about took a lot of time. Please move. it's working now. Sanni is not here because he have to go somewhere, and it took more time to deploy this. So I debug it to figure out what's wrong. Earlier, all the build which were here were getting stuck on a running scripting part, which was including the part of building the app. But the actual issue was that Fastlane needs to know whether it's running on a CI or not. Based on that, it do some internal optimization. I don't know what. But for now, I figured out that setting up the CI flag as a true on the CI, it will make sure that the Fastlane does not do all that stuff, and it fixes the stucking part, and it's able to build it and now able to deploy it. So now it's working. We can build and deploy it to the TestFlight. If I come to the App Store and if I refresh it, we can see that in the same version we have the second file uploaded. So this is the setup CI flag, just to avoid this keychain and all those things issue on the Circle CI. So yeah, so that's it. That's how we deploy the iOS app using Fastlane and Flutter. So we basically set up the Fastlane locally, created the certificates, identifier, and all those things, which basically was most of the stuff was done by the Fastlane. And then we build it locally and try to run it and see if that works. Then our first version worked, and then we set up the CI, which basically worked after getting that issue. So it was a small fix, but we missed that completely, so we couldn't figure out. So this is basically the CI stuff: checking out your repository, then getting flutter.pubget, and then setting up the Fastlane, and then setting up the store key and installing pod, and then deploy and uploading to the Fastlane using this Fastlane IO beta command which we have created. And then it required a match password, a match git password, which is basically our Fastlane private key, and the JSON key, and the Apple specific password for making that keychain work. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. It was way too long, and being there for start to the end. It seems like we did it very quickly, but it took us a lot of time before doing it. We spent a lot of time deploying the app, deploying the iOS app in Fastlane. As I have said earlier, I spent a week in order to figure it out, that how this works end to end. Sanni has done it multiple times. I have done it multiple times, and then we are able to do it in this one session. So yeah, thank you. And if you like this video and if you find any value in this video, then please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and thanks to Sanni as well. If you are interested, I'm running a live effective Flutter dev classes on weekends. So if you are a Flutter developer and want to advance your skill set, I run these classes on a weekend. You can check the curriculum itself here. I also teach the CI/CD stuff part here, DevTools and CI/CD, where in one of the classes I also teach this, that how you deploy in Android and iOS both. So you can check out the curriculum, and if you are interested, you can apply to these classes. So yeah, if you're interested, please do check out effectiveflutterdev.com. Thank you, and if you like this video, then please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.